Yeah! I am the game! Woo! I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because
the best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be.
You will rest in peace. And what you're gonna do when the whole world falls to me and destroy
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold
I haven't worn this shirt in a while. I decided to pull it out after watching WrestleMania 30. Brought back some memories, man. I used to wear this shirt a lot. But of course I stopped wearing it. But back then, man, when he was still able to do it, he was the man. When I think about WrestleMania 30, and yes, this is your boy, X-Man, and you are watching another edition of my WrestleMania review series. There was nobody better. He was the man. It was his time. Daniel Bryan was the guy to watch in wrestling. The Yes Movement was in full swing, and no matter who you were, nobody mattered more than Daniel Bryan. The audience loved this guy. Everywhere he went, he was a rock star. I dare say the last person to get that kind of reception from the audience, well, Rock, Austin, HBK, Bret Hart. In 2014, Daniel Bryan was the man. However, his rise was a miracle. Let's be honest. Like CM Punk, WWE had no intentions on pushing Bryan to that main event scene. They gave him a cup of coffee. Other than that championship win at SummerSlam, that was it. Originally, Bryan was going to fight Sheamus again. Yeah, they wanted to do Daniel Bryan and Sheamus again here at WrestleMania 30. A lot of things happened that stopped that, thankfully. They brought back Batista, hoping he would be this big marketing babyface. They would do anything to go to WrestleMania if we had Batista. Batista even said in one of his interviews, I forgot which interview it was, but he came out and said, it was a terrible idea, and we all knew that. As soon as Batista came back and we heard he was going to fight Randy Orton at WrestleMania, we were all saying, that is a terrible idea. Why is it that even the fans knew it was a terrible idea, but the WWE didn't care? Again, this is around the time where WrestleMania was selling on its name. They didn't care if you liked what they produced. They didn't care if you were entertained all that much. They were so cocky and so confident in WrestleMania selling, they didn't give a damn if you liked the main event or not. So, it was still going to be Batista and Randy Orton. And Bryan was still not going to be in the main event. But something happened that changed all of that. Well, two things. The Royal Rumble 2014 bombed. And after seeing how the fans reacted to Batista, WWE kind of waned on that main event, but they didn't completely change their minds until CM Punk left. This was the year CM Punk walked out on WWE and left them high and dry. Triple H had no match. One of the marquee matches of WrestleMania 30 was gone. So they had no choice. They were backed against the wall. They said, screw it, fine, we'll listen to you. We give up. We will push Daniel Bryan to that main event scene. And as a result, we got one of the best WrestleManias in recent memory. Great WrestleMania. Top 5, absolutely. I put this up there with WrestleMania 19, with WrestleMania 21. One of the best WrestleManias I've had the pleasure of sitting down and watching. And watching it again, it doesn't get old. Great show. It's 4 hours long, didn't feel like it. I enjoyed every second of it. It premiered on April 6, 2014. The very first show to premiere with the WWE Network. What a hell of a show to do it with. Definitely the best show so far to take place on the WWE Network. It was in the Superdome, not Silverdome, Hogan, the Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana. Attendance again. I'm expecting WrestleMania at this point to have a big attendance. 75,167. Commentary, Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, and JBL. Ring announcers, Justin Roberts and Lillian Garcia, and Tony Chemmel. I think he's still around. Now, the interviewer for this show was Mean Gene Okerlund. I thought that was cool. It was cool seeing him backstage interviewing the wrestlers. I'm happy he was there. That was really, really cool. So we open up the show with, in my opinion, one of the most memorable segments in WrestleMania history. We had Hulk Hogan go out there, and Hulk Hogan was the host for WrestleMania 30 at least. He accidentally, a big botch, but you know what? If anybody's gonna do a botch at WrestleMania and still be loved, it's Hogan. He called the Superdome the Silver Dome, where he suplexed, picked up, and slammed Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3. And he was on memory lane. He forgot where he was because he's Hogan. Austin came out, mocked him for it, got a good laugh out of it, did his shtick. And then The Rock came out, mocked Hogan for it, and did his shtick. We had three of the biggest stars in WrestleMania history. No, biggest stars in wrestling history under one light in one ring for the first time ever. And it was one of the best segments I have ever seen. It was fun, it was exhilarating, and it got us off on a good note for WrestleMania 30. If I was going to give segments grades, this would get an A+. Definitely one of the best segments ever. You got what? You got If You Smell What The Rock Is Cooking. You got all that. You even got Hulk Hogan. What you gonna do, brother, 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 brother? And they all toast, they drink beer, and they celebrate. You just feel good coming out of it. Then we get into a great match. We open up the show with a fantastic match between Daniel Bryan and Triple H with Stephanie McMahon. Now, Triple H has been known for having amazing entrances for WrestleMania. This is my favorite one. I love seeing Triple H on that throne, having this emperor look with the crown. You have his slaves, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss, I think, were those three slaves from NXT. I like it. Daniel Bryan went out there, and man, when you see him go out there, and you see how that crowd just swarms of yes. Swarms of yes. And it was amazing. Just amazing to see. But fantastic match. That's how you open the show. I was shocked at how well these two worked together. If you ask me, this is one of Triple H's best matches in WrestleMania history. It has to rank up there as one of his best. His matches with Taker so far are his best ones. This has to be right under them. Bryan wins, and then afterwards you have Triple H attack him to add drama to that main event scene. Definitely one of the best openers. At least the second best. I kind of like Owen and Brett just a little bit more, but this is definitely, without question, one of the best openers in any WrestleMania. We got The Shield taking on Kane, Road Dogg Jesse James, and Badass Billy Gunn. And it was an average match. The Shield wins. It was more like a squash match, honestly. This is the last WrestleMania for The Shield. They do break up. Seth Rollins joins the Authority. Ambrose becomes the biggest star in the company, because he's just that awesome. And Roman Reigns, we'll get to him next year. But as for The Shield, not a bad match to end their tenure. I loved their match with the Wyatt family the previous month. That is a classic. Their match, I honestly think, probably should have been here on WrestleMania. Yeah, they should have had that match on WrestleMania, because what they ended up having was not really all that great. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. We had the first ever Andre the Giant Battle Royal. The winner of that one was Cesaro. Cesaro is the very first Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. He gets the trophy. And the booking of this match was perfect. The last four, I thought, were some really good choices. And then I love how it ended with Cesaro picking up Big Show and body slamming him over the top rope. A very cool moment. And great way to pay homage to Andre and Hogan for WrestleMania 3. Loved it. I only wish this win catapulted Cesaro's career to the main event scene. It should have, because they stuck him with Paul Heyman the very next night. They gave him everything. I don't even know why he didn't get some opportunity at the World Championship, but he didn't get anything out of this. And it's sad. It's sad, man. Cesaro, to me, has all the tools to be a main event player, to be a big-time player for that company. But they never gave him an opportunity, man. They never gave him a chance. They never gave him a shot. And if they ever do, he's going to make the most out of it. But until then, I don't know. It's sad seeing Cesaro get such a great match and it doesn't go anywhere. The next match here is John Cena versus Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family. This is a hell of a match. It told a great story, and I loved how Bray Wyatt played into the audience, conducting, "He's got the whole world in his hands." When the crowd is singing a tune that you just said randomly in a promo, you know you're over. He was massively over, and the mind games he played with John Cena really added to the match. He added a lot of drama to the match. I even love seeing Cena walk that line of rage and almost lose his temper. That's good. But great offense from both men. A hell of a showcasing from both men. There's one problem with this match. The wrong person went over. This should have been a big win for Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. And looking back in hindsight, yeah, this was a bad decision. They should have had Cena lose this match. It wouldn't have hurt him. He would be okay. And Bray Wyatt would have been, I dare say, he would be a lot more established than he is now. He has struggled ever since he lost to Cena. And he didn't really recover until this year. So that's a 3-year drought for Bray Wyatt. And I hate that. But still a great match. Well, it wasn't a great match. And what is also one of the most depressing moments in any WrestleMania is the end of the streak. 21-1. The Undertaker loses to Brock Lesnar. I remember being so angry about this match. Of all people, to beat the Undertaker streak, we give it to Brock Lesnar. Why? He doesn't need it. UFC World Champion, beat Kurt Angle, beat The Rock, got one of the biggest pushes in history. Why are we giving him the streak? I was pissed when this happened. And also, I was one of the many people that didn't want the streak to end. I wanted Taker to retire with the streak intact. This match, being as bad as it is, didn't help either. This was just, it was slow, and it really showed Taker's age. After a certain point, your body starts to break down, and you stop having classics. You can't have top quality matches after a certain point. That's why I felt Ric Flair retiring at WrestleMania 24 was the best part, because even though he went to TNA to get money, he wasn't having the kind of matches he should have. And like Taker, after WrestleMania 30, he just stopped having classics. He hasn't had classics since. It's a shame. And what makes things worse is that after the match, Taker collapsed backstage, and he had to be taken to the hospital. It was so bad and so scary that Vince McMahon left the show. He left WrestleMania to see if Taker was okay. A scary moment. So I did not like this match. And even watching back on it, I still don't like this match. But I can't say it didn't help the career of Brock Lesnar. It made him one of the biggest monsters in WWE history. He later goes on to destroy John Cena at SummerSlam 2014. And then become one of their biggest attractions ever. So, in terms of creating a monster, this did its job. It made Brock Lesnar seem practically unbeatable. It's just not easy to watch. It's just not easy to sit through. I do not like seeing Undertaker's streak end. Even now. And of course, the Divas Championship match. Oh my god, a Divas Championship match! Finally! We finally get one on WrestleMania. It's the Divas Championship Invitational Battle Royal. The people in it is your Divas Champion AJ Lee, Oksana, Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Cameron, Emma, Eva Marie, Layla, Naomi, Natalia, Rosa Mendez, Summer Rae, and Tamina Snuka. Some of you just went who to a lot of those women. Exactly. It doesn't matter. The match was average. AJ Lee won. She kept her championship. She held that belt for a long time. She held it for 294 days. And lost it to a debuting Paige. And then after that, we got the main event. No DQ or countouts. WWE World Heavyweight Championship Triple Threat. Randy Orton versus Batista versus Daniel Bryan. If you ever needed a match that made you smile, or reminded you why you're a wrestling fan, look no further than this match. One of the best WrestleMania main events I have ever seen. All three men had great moments. Loved the double team with Batista and Randy Orton. I think it was like a Batista bomb into an RKO spot that put Bryan through a table. That was nasty. I even liked seeing him getting carried off on the stretcher and then getting back up. Classic Mick Foley moment there. But after watching them just tear the house down, and one of the best matches I've ever seen, Bryan makes Batista tap out to the label lock. And when I tell you, Bryan celebrating was one of the most emotional, one of the most fulfilling, one of the most exciting, and just one of the most coolest moments in WrestleMania history. It's just really cool to see him get that moment. And someone like Daniel Bryan, who's worked his ass off so hard, and being someone that's just a good person. In this wrestling business, people like Daniel Bryan don't survive. They don't. But here we are, WrestleMania 30, and he's celebrating with 2 championships in his hand. And it's so heartbreaking, knowing that nothing came out of this. He got the moment, he got the keys to the castle, and then he gets injured and has to give it up. He never comes back to this. This is it. This is the peak of his career. And it's sad. He has to eventually call it a day. He has one more WrestleMania, but we all know what happens. He has to retire from wrestling. And if you had to gauge his career off of WrestleMania, I wouldn't go out any other way. They gave him a really good run with that championship. They gave him a really good run as a wrestler, period. He's one of the only people, if I'm not mistaken, to win every single championship on the roster. Yeah, he's a Grand Slam champion. I personally feel we didn't get enough of Bryan. We could have gotten Lesnar and Bryan. We could have gotten Shinsuke Nakamura and Bryan. We could have gotten a lot of other awesome matches with Bryan. And we never did. We never will, probably. At least not in WWE. When his contract expires, and he eventually does leave, he might return back to the ring. But that's one of those questions we will have to answer when that happens. Should Bryan go back to wrestling? After his performance tonight, you have to know he's going into the Hall of Fame. Why wouldn't he? He's one of the best wrestlers to ever enter a WWE ring. So, without question, a future Hall of Famer. What are your thoughts from WrestleMania 30? And thank you for watching me gush over one of my favorite wrestlers. Thank you guys for watching my review. I'll catch you next time for another edition of your boy Alyx Man's WrestleMania review series. Take it easy, peace.